myself. Mhm. Okay, so hello everyone. You are at the Funding Your Graduate Program at the Lundquist College of Business call. My name is Caitlin Biddulph. I'm the Director of Admissions for the College of Business. And just our agenda for today. We'll be doing some brief introductions, and then going down and starting with some scholarship highlights, and then moving to financial aid. So Steve Mardane, who's in our financial aid office, will be joining me today for that part of the call. We also have some other members of the admissions and student services team on the call, helping out to answer any questions or moderate the chat. So lots of support here today for you. And as I said, my name's Caitlin. I'm the Director of Admissions. Steve had earlier dropped off the call. I'm trying to see, he has been able to come back. Steve, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Steve. I'm a senior financial counselor to University of Oregon Financial Aid Office. I'm here to answer your questions and help you with your decision making.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to kick us off. And as you know, the purpose of the call today is funding your graduate degree. So we do have a number of different graduate degrees, master's degrees at the University of Oregon and within Lundquist. So this will be a presentation for all of you in different programs that you might be interested in. But for everyone, winter is the best time to apply to UO scholarships. Many that we're going to share have some deadlines in February and March, so just be mindful of that. I'll start by introducing our 2026-2027 UO Scholarship Guide. That is a huge resource for you that you will have if you're an admitted and deposited student to one of our programs. It was created to provide just a really comprehensive resource for UO funding and scholarships. This guide will be in your onboarding portal if you've already been admitted. To get to your onboarding portal, you log in like you're logging into your application, and then your onboarding materials will be in there. So we're going to highlight information that's in this guide, but just for all of you to know, if you've been admitted, if you choose to attend, this one will be here for you until you matriculate. So some highlights for you. Most of our programs offer merit scholarships. So that includes the Oregon Executive MBA in Portland, the Oregon MBA in Eugene, our Sport Product Management program, our Master's in Science and Finance program, and our MS in Management program. Our merit scholarships, there's no application required for those. So everyone is automatically considered based on your application materials that you submit and your interview. And you will find out at the time of admission in your offer letter of admission if you have received a scholarship. So again, you do not need to apply for those. There's no separate application. We assume that everyone would like to be considered. For those of you who might be applying to the accounting program, the Master of Accounting program, that program also does have scholarships, but there is an application. The application is due by April 5th, and those scholarships are between $1,000 and $10,000. For some of our other programs, we also have inclusive excellence scholarships. Again, for the Executive MBA, MBA, Sports Product Management program, and Master of Science and Finance. Those range between $5,000 and $10,000, and they are optional essay-based applications. So unlike the merit scholarships, you do have to submit an essay to apply for that. The deadlines to submit those essays vary between April 1st and May 15th, depending on the program. And you'll be notified about 1 month after the deadline if you've received that scholarship. To submit that essay, if you are interested, you log back into the application portal and you can fill it out and submit it just like you did through your application. There'll be a spot to do that. Then there are some University of Oregon scholarships for graduate students. We can probably pull up the link and put it in the chat. But for new graduate students, you put in your UO student ID number and create your account. Please apply for these by February 28th. So you do need to be admitted by that date. So if you're thinking of applying to one of our programs and you're oscillating between when to apply or not for these University of Oregon and Division of Graduate Studies scholarships, it definitely is worth applying a little bit earlier to be eligible to apply for these. These University of Oregon graduate student scholarships, the selection is based on academic performance, extracurriculars, your reference, um, everything else in your essays. And the scholarship is for 1 year only. So if you are matriculating into a 2-year program, you could reapply in your second year. And for that one, you'll be notified no later than June 1st. Next, we have additional funding through our Division of Graduate Studies. So this is our division that only works with graduate students. And there's some examples here um, of things to apply for. Our Future Stewards Award is for incoming and current master's students who are citizens of any federally recognized tribe. There's professional development awards. There's a few others on there. Scholarships are generally added or changed throughout the year, so keep an eye on that website to see if any additional ones are added. Again, for those, the deadlines are usually around mid-February to the beginning of March. And then for any international students who are on this call, we also have international student endowed scholarships awarded by our International Student and Scholar Services. And you must be admissible or fully admitted to UO. This application the process is that you access through the UO scholarship dashboard and you submit by February 13th. You cannot have U.S. citizen or permanent resident status for this, and you must demonstrate financial need and meet a minimum 3.0 cumulative GPA. Finally, the Global Corners Award is an additional scholarship for international students. There is no application required for this one. The College of Business nominates new and returning students for this award in March. So any international student who has applied and has been admitted to one of our programs will be considered automatically for this award and can be nominated from the College of Business. I just flew through scholarships. So if there's any questions about what I went through, I think that part is the part that most people have a general better understanding of, and you're probably a little bit more curious about financial aid, but I am very happy to answer questions about any of those scholarships that I talked about. Anything. And feel free again, there will be time for questions at the end, or you can put them in the chat. And yes, scholarships can stack. That's a good question. So if you have been awarded, for example, a merit scholarship, but you are also an international student, you can receive one of those awards. You can also receive an Inclusive Excellence Scholarship. You can receive one of the Division of Graduate Studies scholarships. So yes, they do stack. The only one that you will find out in your offer letter when you're admitted to a program is that merit scholarship. And then you'll find out, because the other ones are application based, you'll find out about those ones later. Good question. Have we had any students graduate debt-free? Yes, we have had students graduate debt-free, either from a combination of internal and external scholarships, graduate employment opportunities, Um, there's there's a mix. I would say the majority of our students do take out loans, so this financial aid part will be quite helpful. Any other questions regarding scholarships before I reintroduced um, interested in general scholarship? Not sure about. Yes, yes, apply. Please, if you are interested in the scholarships, apply. It doesn't hurt. None of these applications are overly lengthy. But it's if you don't apply, you're losing out on the opportunity. International applicant eligible for student loan, not federal student loans, and that might be a good segue to Steve's part, so I'll let him answer the rest of that. You can get private loans as an international student, but you are not eligible for federal loans. Good question so far.
I also have a question. So I transferred last year from GCC, and I have a question about like the applicate, like the GPA. Like, is it just are you looking just at the U of O GPA or also the transfer GPA?
For merit-based scholarships,
Yeah, yeah.
we're looking at both. For merit-based scholarships, we look at the full application package. So that includes um, all transcripts that you submit. That includes if you do or do not take test scores, that includes essays, that includes interview. So it is a holistic merit review scholarship process.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's why it is important as you are applying to one of our programs to try to submit the best application, put the best application together that you can, because not only does it impact your decision to possibly be admitted to a program, but it does impact your scholarship availability too. Great questions. I'm going to turn it over to Steve. I will continue to monitor the chat for additional questions, but I want to make sure that we give Steve enough time. So, Steve, please take it away.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Kevin, for everybody being here. We really appreciate you. Again, my name is Steve. I'm a financial counselor, and I'm here to answer your questions about how to finance your degree. And there are many ways to do this. And one of the questions was, do you guys have any students that graduated without that? Absolutely, yes. That's actually many times, and I've talked to a lot of students. And but it is not unusual for students to take out loans, and but again, GE appointments and other tools that they can use to be able to just lower the amount of their loans or not apply for it at all. So, anyways, I'm going to go cover this some of the loans and action items that if anybody's interested in taking out loans, we're going to go over the terms and conditions and who's eligible, who is not, and all that. And briefly touching on cost of attendance and how to pay your bill and when the bills are due, all that stuff. And also your questions. If you have any questions, as Caitlin mentioned, you could just go ahead and post it, and I can jump on the questions, or we can jump on the questions, or we can just wait until end of the session. So getting your ducks in a row, that's basically there are two types of financial aid or loans that the students can receive. And those are either federal loans, basically federal loans, or private lenders that they have student loans. And in order for students to be eligible and be able to take out federal loans, they have to complete 2026-27 FAFSA. FAFSA, I don't know if you guys are familiar, it stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And if your program is going to start in summer, summer is part of our current academic year, 2025-26. Just in case if your program is starting in summer, then we need to you need to complete FAFSA for 25-26 and also 26-27. So that way you will be receiving financial aid offer for summer, and then by end of summer, starting fall of 2026, you're going to start using your FAFSA for 26-27 academic year. And once you complete your FAFSA, then if you give us perhaps maybe a week or two, we will have your FAFSA record. And then you could call me, call our office. And if you have any questions, sometimes FAFSA has outstanding requirements. Generally for graduate students is sometime federal government, Department of Education, they require that we see proof of citizenship or green card as permanent residency and stuff. So you might want to, once you complete your FAFSA, could be for 25-26 or 26-27, just please keep an eye on the email, University of Oregon email account, if you have one. If not, that will be communicated through your private email that you have submitted with your application, and it will ask for some documentation if it's required by the Department of Education. We hardly set a requirement, but we have to obviously follow the regulations and collect those documentation to be your file. And also watch for email notifications. So once we have packaged the financial aid, at the same time, you're going to be packaging your overall cost of attendance. It could be for summer or for next year. And for summer, it's going to be obviously for one term. And for next year, 26-27, you're going to package your the budget for overall fall, winter, spring. And next summer, summer of 2027, will not be included, but sometimes students are attending summer classes, so they will be getting summer offer for loans and other things. So loans and action items. So we are going to go into available loan options. There are, as I mentioned earlier, there are two types of loans that graduate students typically qualify for. Two types of loans. It's not subsidized loan. I don't know if any of you guys have applied for subsidized loan when you were an undergraduate student, but graduate students' loans are basically, there's two types of loans. One is unsubsidized, federal unsubsidized loan, and the other one is federal or private student loans. And so federal unsubsidized loan actually easy to qualify, doesn't require any credit check. You're just going to do a couple of forms, and basically it's guaranteed. And flexible repayment plans and everything. And also the interest rate, sometimes it's lower, slightly lower than private student loans. Private student loans, they're also called, some people call it alternative funding, alternative loans. And those are through any bank of your choice. You choose the bank, and you're going to go for a credit check. They usually do a credit check. And they're a lot easier to get as a graduate student. Banks are more receptive and accepting of offering you loans, because obviously you're a graduate student and not, for example, in comparison to undergrad or, So private student loans are available on the internet. So you will do, you're going to be asked to complete an application for credit check. And just in case, if you don't pass the credit, then they will also, they might ask for a cosigner. Not very often graduate students are asked for a cosigner, but it's a possibility. If just in case there's some issues with the credit reporting or something, then they will be asking for a cosigner. And basically, if you want to At this time, actually, we are not, our office policy is that we don't want to promote any bank. We just want to stay neutral in that field. But any bank that you decide to work with, that's fine with us, and we will work with them. What the process is that once you apply for a private student loan, then your lender is going to approve you, and then they are going to send us a certification of eligibility. So certification eligibility, what that is, basically, they're going to ask a bunch of questions. Is the online form that they send it to us. So they ask, like, is the student enrolled here? Are they a graduate student? Are they making progress, academic progress? And what is their overall cost of attendance? So overall cost of attendance, just want to remind you that the overall cost of attendance sets the ceiling amount of eligibility for loans, grants, scholarships. Say, for example, the cost of attendance is, for example, $50,000. Then you have a $10,000 scholarship. Then $40,000 could be funded with both federal loans and private loans, or private loans. If you decide to just, sometimes students they don't want to borrow from federal government. That's fine too. And then you could just do all in private loans, and that will be fine. You will certify that you're eligible for the remaining balance of unfunded from your budget, annual cost of attendance. Federal student loans are limited. The annual limit is $20,500, and that will be divided in 3 equal disbursement of $6,833. The last term of it is $6,834. And then it begins accruing interest from day one, just like in private sector loans. So it's really private lenders. They have really become active over the years to really in this field, in this area. So they really are. There's a heavy competition between private sector competing with the federal loans and trying to fill that gap in funding. So you're going to find very kind of small difference between federal loans and private loans. And so here's for example, the federal loans, $20,500 per year, and that not including summer. Summer has its own $6,833, and from federal government, and if you decide to apply for it, and also the interest accrues. And fixed rate right now, fixed rate for 2025-26 is 7.94%. And that will be until July 1st of 2026. And by the way, the terms and conditions of an interest rate for federal student loans is all set by U.S. Department of Education, by Congress, basically. They set these limits and terms and conditions once a year, July 1st of every year for another 12 months. So it could go up a little bit, go down, depends on the economy and inflation, all that stuff. So there's a loan origination fee, 1.057%. So what that means is that your net disbursement, or the net disbursement that you get from federal government for you applying, say, for $6,833 per term, your net disbursement is slightly lower than your loan amount, your original gross loan amount. So keep that in mind. Sometimes that raises the question, student, undergrad or grad, they say, okay, I applied for $4,000, but I received, $3,900 some dollars. So where is the rest of it? And really, the rest of it is at that 1.057% that it's applicable to federal loans and graduate students. When graduate students borrow, undergraduate students pay a little bit less. And then payments apply or basically are required, and not as long as you're in school, you're not required to make payments on your federal loans. In fact, the private sector loans are the same. They let you kind of go to school, complete your degree program, but the interest is accruing on the loan. And 6 months after your graduation, and you'll be hearing from federal government, basically they have loan servicers that they will service your loan for collecting the money back. And that also the same for private loans, alternative loans. You're not obligated to make any payments. You certainly can. And 6 months after graduation is pretty typical because they are really, I just want to mention that they're just really kind of competing in the same area for basically for students that they want to take on loans. So federal loans, to activate federal loans, again, it's pretty streamlined. And so you just need to activate federal loans. It's guaranteed. It doesn't require any credit check or anything. So you just need to complete, there are three steps that student needs to take to get it activated. And that would be go to your doc web. You're going to post, once you activate it or you wanted to activate, you're going to go to doc web portal. And then, so change the status from pending to accept. That's basically is going to tell our school, our office that you want to take out this loan. And there are two forms online completing entrance counseling. That's going to go over. It's a federal. Both of these forms are federally. Basically, it's required by the Department of Education. And complete entrance counseling. It's kind of online counseling, and it's going to explain the terms and conditions of your federal loans and get you familiar with your obligation, and your term, basically your options for the loan that you're taking out. And also master promissory note. Master promissory note, just like as the name implies, I promise I pay this loan back. And these two forms are good for 10 years. So once you complete it, you don't really need to do it again. But go on and changing it on your doc web, change the status from pending to accept. That will be on an annual basis. And by the way, you're going to be making loan offers, but you don't have to. I mean, nobody's required to take out loans. If you want to pay maybe part of it out of pocket and take out some of your loans, or you want to just kind of bypass the first term, second term, maybe pay out, savings or something, and then activate your loans in the third term, that's fine too. There's no rush in activating the loans. Private student loans. So this is actually, again, it's not that difficult. It's just the source of the money is different. It's not federal government. It's a private sector. And a lot of banks are involved in this private student loans. And so you need to pick a lender. You can talk to your credit union, local credit union, or bank that you have been banking with. And whoever you want to go with, that's fine with us. We accept any certification from any bank in U.S., not outside the U.S., but in U.S. And if they send us a certification, all we're going to do basically certify, send it back to them, and we will wait for the money to come in. And as soon as it arrives within 24 hours, it will be going through your student billing account. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more later. And so apply for loans online. If you have questions, I got a question here, but I'm going to, if you want to check basically just to check the field a little bit and test the field, you can just Google. And we're not really, we want to stay neutral. We don't want to put any names out there saying, okay, this bank is better bank than the other. We just let the student decide and do their research. And then, but we have some information on our website. If you go to financialaid.uoregon.edu, and there's actually, if you go to aid types, that's a big icon, that aid types, and then go to loans, you'll see it's called alternative loans, and you have some information on private student loans. But so when you're applying for the loan, you might want to consider just do some budgeting and see what you really can get by with. And so you just apply for one loan, and then that will be spread over fall, winter, spring, and it will be dispersed. 7 days, everything is so regulated. So 7 days before first day of classes, then the money comes in within 24 hours, goes towards your bill, and then once the bill is paid, then the leftover will be returned back to you as a refund check. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. There was a question in here. I think I missed it, right? Loans. Oh, uh, that's fine. Not unfortunate. Yeah, so student loans are optional, obviously, but um, and is there veterans scholarship? Um, Not specifically. Now, Veterans Benefit Office, you might want to contact them, see if there are any like a tuition discount or there are different programs that VA benefits cover the students, tuition and fees, and sometimes it's tuition only, and sometimes it's entire tuition and fees or room and board. I have seen that room and board even covered. So I would advise that if you have questions about that, just Google UO Veterans Benefit Office, and then there are a couple of people over there, Jennifer and Michael, experts in that area, so you can ask some questions, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you. Except Tillman, yeah, again, I've seen that actually. Yes, I've seen that Tillman military scholarship. There's a question in here everybody can see, I'm sure. Does the University of Oregon accept the Pat Tillman military scholarship? Yes, I've seen that come through, and I've seen it in the billing account. And yes, I believe that they do actually accept it, and has been posted to students' accounts. I have seen it. And let's see. Okay.
Steve, one of the questions was
Yes,
if someone can apply for or can submit their FAFSA before being admitted to a program.
absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So you can actually, students now, they have, with a couple of years ago, they overhauled FAFSA actually. That was like 2023, I believe. And so now applicants, they can apply for FAFSA once it's available. Right now, it's FAFSA both for 25-26 and 26-27 is available online. Just go to fafsa.gov, or you can go to our website, and then you will be able to have a link to go to FAFSA. And so when you go to complete the FAFSA, there's a question. It's going to ask you for the school codes that as soon as you start typing it, University of Oregon, it shows up. So you complete the FAFSA, no obligation, or if you don't have to be admitted. However, I just want to let you know that it is actually good to apply early. I'm going to get to that a little bit later, but I would definitely apply for FAFSA as soon as possible. But if you're not admitted, no problem. But when it comes to packaging your financial aid, we do need the FAFSA record that has been submitted. And you're admitted student. There are two conditions: admitted and also FAFSA. Those are the two conditions that we're able to basically, and that this applies to just about all schools, around the country as well. And one more thing I was going to add about early FAFSA filing is that actually you might early FAFSA filing priority deadline is March 1st. So this March 1st, it is late, obviously, for 2025-26. That was March 1st of 2025 was a priority deadline for that version of the FAFSA. However, for 26-27, we still have some time. You could apply before March 1st, and that will put your name in a bigger pool that you may be able to like get work study eligibility to be able to work on campus, maybe internships, that kind of thing. Because some departments they hire work study eligible students. That basically it gives you a really great opportunity to get a job on campus, and because when a student has work study eligibility, three-quarter of their hourly wages comes from federal government. That's free money to the department. So that really entices the employers to hire the work study students first, and then they also hire other non-work study eligible students. So, okay. Question is, do you know the average amount of time that it takes a student to pay off their loans? Yes, absolutely. So when you're taking out loans, now I'm going to separate the loans. So federal loans, you can take it out today, pay tomorrow, or next month, or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me, or a counselor, or our office, or federal government. Nobody's really benefiting from you taking out a loan and holding on to it. So you can just take it out, take it out when you need it, and then say, hey, I want to cancel or reduce my federal loan. No problem. You can do that anytime. And now private loans, some private loans that you might want to, when you go to apply for private loans, you want to definitely look into the terms and conditions. I don't think that they really, not very many have this requirement, but they might be prepayment penalty. Prepayment penalty meaning that you take out a loan, say, for example, they expect that you're going to hold on to this loan 10 years or so, or 5 years, but then you come across some money, you get a job, good income and stuff, you want to pay it all at once. So there might be some penalty kind of applicable to that prepayment to private loans. Now, generally speaking, back to that question, is that federal loans are stretched over the repayment period is 10 years, 120 payments. So, but I think there are some like programs like based on income based. So if the student is out of school, but they're still looking for a job, maybe they have part-time job, they don't have a full-time job or something, they'll not be able to afford it. I think there's a way that they can actually make it income based. And so that's that. I think hopefully that answers your question. Private student loan dispersed at the same time. Yes. So federal loans, there are a lot of federal regulations, but you guys don't have to worry about it. But the one federal loan requirement is that federal government funnels the money to schools, for example, for term by term, we are on a trimester year. So 10 days before first day of classes, that's when we get the money from federal government. If, for example, you've done the application, not the application, but the entrance counseling master promissory note. So 10 days before first day of classes, I believe, is September 29th for this upcoming fall term. So 10 days before school starts, they just funnel the money to school, to business office. So business office is going to take the money, run it through your billing account, they're going to pay off your outstanding balance. That's again regulated by the Department of Education. So it goes through your billing account, it pays off your outstanding balance, and the remainder will be returned back to you for room and board, books and supplies, and other expenses. And the private loans are the same thing. They are, if the application is completed, approved, and everything, they send us the same thing on 10 days before school starts, and then 7 days before classes begin, then you can see it on your doc web that, oh, okay, I got the private loan, or maybe I got the federal loan, and it's all paid my bills, and I'm expecting to get $5,000, $6,000 back. It all comes at the same time if everything is done prior to 10 days before school starts. I hope that helps. Do we know the average amount of time? Okay, that's private loan dispersed. Okay, fine. Private loans dispersed at the same time. Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So you definitely can apply for FAFSA before your admission has been completed. Yes. You can put up to 20 schools on your FAFSA. And so even if you're not sure about it, I say, I mean, 20 schools and there's no obligation. So you can put up to 20 schools on your FAFSA. The schools receive your FAFSA record. So you're filing early. So that's good. And also, you just wait for your admission to get completed, and then financial aid offer will be issued in financial aid offer and also budget estimated cost of fees. What is the total cost? I think I'm gonna touch on this, but maybe Caitlin can also help me with this too, because cost of attendance that I'm gonna review it. Let's just move to the next slide. Your cost. There you go.
Yeah, and
So
I'll say we've for everybody who hasn't been looking at the chat, some of my colleagues have put some really great links and resources into the chat. So when I was going through the scholarship portion, they were putting in the links to the pages where you can go learn more about those scholarships and apply. They've also linked to our tuition table. All of our master's programs have different tuition and fees. And some of them have, different tuition for Oregon residents versus non-Oregon residents. Some of them have a flat tuition rate regardless of your residency. So that is a very program-specific question. You can take a look on that link on that was shared in the chat. And then if you have any very specific program questions about cost of attendance, definitely let me know, send me a private message. I will probably will get back to you tomorrow about more robust information.
Thank you. So cost of attendance that we are going to be issued to all students that they're admitted and they have done FAFSA record, FAFSA application. And so your cost of attendance is going to include 5 different components: tuition and fees, estimated cost of living, personal expenses, and books and supplies, and also transportation. So all of those have basically there's going to be some cost. That again, this is a cost. That doesn't mean that University of Oregon billing office they're going to charge you for these. This is just the estimated cost. We want to put this forward. So our students, graduate, undergraduate, we want to give them a heads up, what they can expect over the course of the year, what type of expenses. Sometimes, maybe just kind of like, hey, I don't have money for books or something, or transportation. By the way, graduate students, especially graduate students, your cost of attendance is very fluid. So because you guys have, you have it kind of you're in a unique situation where, for example, there is no parent plus loan or parents kind of supporting you with these expenses. So if you have, for example, your lease is higher, if it's going to be a little bit higher than what we have estimated, because our estimates are based on some research that we do every year about this time of year to compose and put together all cost of attendance. So if you're, say, for example, you need to travel to, and that's required from your home to college, or if you have children that they need they have childcare expenses, or for example, you're taking more number of credits than what we have estimated, because we have to go with an estimate. We don't know exactly who's going to take how many credits, or how much your rent is going to cost or your mortgage is going to cost. So that's why this is really flexible for especially for graduate students. Or if you need a computer, for example, what we are looking at right now, none of this explain basically purchasing a computer, but we can increase your budget for purchasing a computer or laptop. And then because as we know, all of us now need laptop, just gonna the classes and stuff. So we could increase your budget for many different things if needed. If you need more flexibility in applying for loans or something, then we can actually look into your budget and see if we can increase it. And again, it's flexible, especially for graduate students. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and as Kaylin mentioned, I was gonna actually my next slide is there you go, the cost, but this is just a general cost for basically graduate student. Again, thank you, Kaylin, for explaining that. That was so different programs have different tuition and fees structure. So for more information, you could go to our website, financialaid.uoregon.edu, go to graduate cost, and go to graduate students, and then you can just explore from there. I did that this afternoon, just wanted to make sure that it's actually there and everything's applicable. It is. So I would encourage you guys to go and take a look, or you can go to the registrar's office website, and they also have it posted in the table. Thank you. It's Veterans Benefits Office. That's great. So paying the bill. So say you get admitted, and then you've done the FAFSA, and or maybe apply for a bank loan, and so comes fall, say first month of September, then September 15th, student billing office. They assess all the tuition costs, and that's going to, for graduate students, primarily is the tuition and fees, nothing else. Like the room and board and everything else is typically students are renting and paying aside. So private, renters or something. But actually, one thing I was going to mention, University of Oregon, we do have on campus, we do have graduate housing, specifically for graduate students. So I would encourage you to, if you're not set on, if you don't have a house that you own and then a mortgage or something like that, or if you don't, you can actually, you might be able to move into one of the housing, graduate housing that much cheaper and more accommodated to graduate students. And so if that's the case, if you're renting from University of Oregon, then they will, your bill also is going to show your rent as well. If you're renting from outside organizations, agencies, and basically landlords or whatever, then you're going to get a refund check. So come September 15th, student billing office, they're going to look at they're going to set up your bill. They will email you and let you know what the cost, what your outstanding balance is. And then the bill is going to say it's due on October 1st. And everybody gets 10 days grace period. So ideally, you want to make payments out of pocket, or maybe you want to borrow loans or whatever, scholarships. It will automatically go in and it's going to pay your outstanding balance, and then remainder, if you're not living in residence hall or student housing, then leftover funds, usually for graduate students, is about $5,000 to $6,500 per term. And that could, again, it's flexible. It could be higher or lower, and it will be returned back to you. And then you could go ahead and just pay those bills, and obviously, but you know that your tuition will be paid on that. So first day of classes, September 28th, and setting up, if you're going to be getting a refund check, I would definitely highly recommend setting up a direct deposit. University Billing Office, they do send out a refund check, so excess funds from your, after, say, for example, you have excess funds for $5,000, and after bill is paid, then they will either mail it to you, mail you a check that you need to cash it, Or I say really better way is to establish a direct deposit, and then they will just direct deposit to your bank account. They will give you 48 hours advance notice, so you know the money's coming, and it will be there on time. That will be last Friday before first day of classes. If any questions about direct deposit, student billing office, they're in charge of that. That phone number 541-346-3170, and that they should be able to help you with that. There you go. And this is our contact information, our office. My name is Steve Mardane. And if you have any questions, it'll be my pleasure to take your questions, emails, or if you have questions, you want to just get on the phone and call us and just say, I want to talk to Steve. And then I'm more than happy to talk to you guys and answer your questions and just guide you any way I can. And emails are really good. We get 300-400 emails every day, actually. So financialaid@uoregon.edu. And if you just put in the attention Steve Mardane in the subject line or something, it will come to me. And give me your phone number if you like. I can give you a call back, or you want to just conversate over the email or something. I mean, we can do that too. I think that concludes. But do you guys have any other questions? We have 9 other ones, right? Is that correct? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got that as well.
So there's a question about will a copy of this PowerPoint be sent out to attendees? Yes, we will send this out so that you can access that. Another question was, do you know how scholarships work with the post 9/11 GI Bill? Yes, we absolutely take that funding. And if your funding from your GI Bill doesn't cover the full tuition and fees, then if you're awarded any scholarship, that also is applied. So you can sort of double dip there too if your GI Bill doesn't cover everything. Abby also just put in the chat the housing guide or some more information on graduate housing for those who are interested. And Steve, someone had a question. How does the bill work for students admitted for the summer term? So in this case, at the College of Business, that would be for
Sure.
Master of Science and Finance students.
Sure. So it's just really not very different. So I would encourage just complete the FAFSA. That's it doesn't cost anything. It's free application, and then you can just you don't have to take out loans or anything, but just see what you get offered, and just in case it could be a plan B, just in case you need the money or something. But anyways, so student register for summer classes as long as once you register for classes, summer doesn't really, we don't take any applications for summer specifically, but your registration for classes serves as your application automatically, your application for financial aid. So as long as we have your FAFSA and then you register for at least 5 credits, 5 credits in graduate programs, 5 credits considered half-time, 5 to 6 is half-time, 7 to 8 is 3/4 time, and 9 and up is full-time. So as long as the students register for 5 credits, graduate student obviously, registered for 5 credits, you will show up on our radar. Basically, you're registered. We're going to go ahead and package your financial aid, and we will notify you that your financial aid is on your document. Please go check it out. And then, yeah, it's just very simple. Very, very simple. I will cover your where just as all those five components: tuition and fees, books and supplies, living expenses, transportation, and personal expenses. And so all of that would be covered, obviously for the period that you are in the classroom. Yeah.
We are almost at time, so I just wanted to put this slide back up. If you have any questions, Steve is a financial aid expert, so please contact him. If you have questions about your application, scholarships, admission, how scholarships work, stacking things. If you would like me to introduce you to our Veterans Affairs office, please contact me. Sometimes it's hard to know who to contact. So if you've been working with one of our wonderful admissions counselors, they're a great resource. Or you can email me and I'll connect you to someone. Okay, well, we are at time. Again, if there's any lingering questions, please let us know. And thank you so much for joining us and have a really nice evening. Thanks again.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Have a good
Have a
one.
good night. Bye bye.